Everyone, today we are doing a full review. This one is called Murasakino by ATON or ATON. This brand is a fairly new brand. The perfumer is a relation to Russian Adam from Orange L'Adore.
I collaborated with my own younger brother, or to be more precise, with my younger step brother.
And they first started their brand with a collaboration with Russian Adam that was named Manly. Since then he's gone on to create his own work. I don't know much more about him, to be honest. His website doesn't give a whole lot of information about him as a person, but he did reach out on Instagram and wanted to send me a sample of his new release. So I have been wearing it, and we'll start off the review by letting you know the official note list for this. So we have Ylang Ylang and Chamomile with Jasmine and Neroli, Cambodian Oud, Civet, Tobacco, Peach, Birch Tar and Blackcurrant with Lavender and Saffron. I'm going to reapply it just to a scent strip for the video. It is quite a long-lasting fragrance, so I don't want to apply it on my skin today. So what I get from the opening of this is quite intense, I would say. It's dark, it's a mix of the florals, kind of a merge of all of them together, but you just get a huge sense of floral immediately backed up by intense combination, I would say, of oud, civet and birch tar. I think the birch tar definitely gives it a slightly wet, smoky kind of log kind of vibe, basically. Yeah, you're gonna get this kind of smoky, woody quality that's damp smelling, quite intense. The civet is obviously animalic. It's kind of, it comes through more, I would say, as it starts to dry down, but I think it's there in the beginning with the oud as well. The oud is mellow, it's not a barnyard skanky oud. However, the civet and the birch tar and these other notes and maybe some indoles of the floral do make it smell quote-unquote dirty, but like I say, it doesn't smell like a barnyard in terms of the oud profile. I think actually the oud is fairly smooth, but everything else is making it quite animalic. There is a slight fresh quality. The florals come across sweet and slightly rubbery in texture, smooth, thick. I would say this is quite a challenging wear for most people. Blackcurrant and peach were listed, and I didn't really manage to pick out a whole lot of that on my skin when I was wearing it. I didn't ever really feel totally that I was getting a huge amount of that. They seemed a little bit more subtle. I think in the midsection I did get something a little bit more fruity coming through. After about an hour, the florals are still quite strong. There is kind of a musky envelope or musky quality to the whole fragrance, I would say. At this point, after about an hour, maybe I get something that's slightly sweet and fruity, but like I say, the fruits don't really jump out on my skin particularly. I didn't really get a whole lot of the saffron, and I would say that it's hard to distinguish the florals. They kind of just merge into each other, so, you know, in general you're just going to get this kind of creamy, rubbery mix of floral. After around 3 hours on my skin, it's mainly, like I say, oud, tobacco kind of vibe, that woody, yeah, woody, intense, oud-focused dry down, essentially. Still with animalic tones, the civet gives it this kind of, how would I describe it? It doesn't freak me out with a level of animalic in there, but my family were quite repulsed by this one, I have to be honest, for the sake of an honest review. My family did smell this one. My mother, when she smelled it on her hand, she sprayed it on her hand and she immediately regretted it. She scrunched up her face at how dirty it was and immediately went to scrub it off. She did again smell it a little bit later on my hand, like maybe a few days later, more into the dry down, and she still scrunched up her face and said, oh, it smells dirty. She had exactly the same reaction. It should be said in a review, for the people around you that don't collect perfumes, that aren't into niche perfumery, that aren't into this kind of perfume, you might smell quite off-putting to the normal nose. So I think it's a very specialized perfume. It's definitely not for everyone. You have to enjoy Animalics, because it will come across as dirty to a lot of people. My family's reaction to this just reminded me of that, because I actually don't have that reaction to it. If I smelt this on someone, I would not be repulsed. I wouldn't mind it. I don't find it, you know, overly crazy in terms of Animalic personally, but maybe I'm just more accustomed to it these days and kind of gotten used to these kinds of notes. But to the average nose, I think it is pretty potent and pretty off-putting, and, you know, like I say, it's not the most wearable fragrance, especially if you're going to be outside among other people. You might not get good reactions from people around you. At around the 8-hour mark, not a whole lot has changed. You're going to get this musky, woody, oud civet combination, and this is the time where I can smell the civet more clearly. And how I would describe the civet is this kind of creamy texture that is, I mean, it sounds pretty revolting, to be honest. How I describe civet, some people describe it as smelling pissy, and I don't think it smells pissy in the slightest. Civet smells, to me, the best way to describe civet is like you take a block of Parmesan cheese, hard Italian cheese, and you put it outside for a couple of weeks and you let the cheese rot. And so you get rotten Parmesan cheese, like sweaty feet Parmesan cheese kind of vibe. And you mix that with cat shit. So you get cat shit with rotting hard Italian Parmesan cheese. Mix that all together so you get this cheesy, shitty smell. That is civet. That's how civet smells. But the way it works in perfume is not quite as repulsive, because it kind of works with the other materials. But you do get this kind of slightly cheesy, shitty kind of backbone to the fragrance at the kind of 8-9 hour mark, where you can pick up that kind of slightly shitty, cheesy kind of thing behind the oud note, behind the muskiness, and it comes across kind of creamy. Yeah, like that whole thing is just mixed up into this creamy, musky, woody kind of quality that some people will really love and some people will just really not like it. And that's just, you know, how sensitive you are to Animalic. Some people find that very sexy and appealing and they really dig it, and other people just really find it quite disgusting. So it's definitely not a safe perfume. If you like Animalics, I would say check it out. In terms of performance for this one, I think the projection and sillage is quite good. And I can, you know, in terms of longevity, I would class it around 10-hour plus longevity, so very good, long-lasting fragrance. Challenging, Animalic, oudi, woody, civet, floral. You're going to get all of that. Like I say, I don't quite get the fruity qualities. I don't pick up a whole lot of peach and blackcurrant. I don't get a massive amount of lavender or saffron. But everything else, I think you do get a mixture of all of that, and it's quite transparent in the note list as to what to expect. In terms of the pricing for this one, it is $260 for a 30 ml. In pounds sterling, a rough translation of that would be about £200 sterling. So I would say it is on the high end, but I can smell a lot of oud, so it makes sense that it would be quite expensive. It's the more I smell it on the test strip, it is a challenge, I think, for people that aren't into Animalics. I mean, it really is. It's an Animalic, it's a dirty fragrance. You need to like civet and oud. The florals just give a more rounded kind of and different nuance in the opening section and early midsection. These kind of sweet rubbery florals, but still the core is this kind of woody civet kind of combination. Altogether, I would say that this style of perfumery is actually not my taste. It does smell good quality, it is just quite challenging to wear, and the reactions of like normal people around you might be kind of off-put by this one, so it might be something you'd want to save for your own time rather than, you know, walking into the office or something with this one. I will leave a link to their website if you want to check it out and read a little bit more about it, or maybe pick up a sample and try it if you're interested. I will see you again with another video. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Oh, man, Harlem gives me Sunday headache, but that old man Harlem keeps me rolling.